All right, Justin Bader here. I wanted to do a quick video and answer some questions that I'm seeing in terms of some patterns in Facebook groups where principals are asking, or principal candidates are asking about their different options, different offers that might be on the table for positions that they are applying for. And I thought it would make sense to address both of these scenarios. Now, there are details that I've left out of these scenarios because the discussion has gone on and the person's question has been answered, and I think they've got a good answer there. But I wanted to address some of these patterns. I think you'll find this really interesting. So let me pull this up here. Scenario number one, this person was asking, of these two job offers that I have on the table, which one would be better for my professional advancement? You know, thinking ahead 5 to 6 years, should I take the job as an assistant principal in a big school or as the principal in a smaller school? And it was a perfectly good discussion. I think lots of good debate there about the pros and cons of working in different environments. But my focus when I first read that question was, wait a minute. If this is the scenario, if we've got these two offers here, I want to know first, are these really offers? Do you actually have an offer on the table to be the assistant principal? Do you actually have that other offer on the table to be the principal in the other school? Because here is what happens. Here is what I was concerned about. So many people see these offers, see these opportunities even before they have offers, and they think, oh yeah, that would be perfect. Oh no, wait, maybe that one over there would be perfect. And they get caught up in the decision that they ultimately, hopefully, will have to make. But in the short term, they don't actually have to make that decision. And what can happen is that people stop looking for additional opportunities. They stop applying for additional jobs because they've allowed their thinking to go so far down the road of those one or two opportunities, and they're just kind of torn, and they're investing all their mental energy in deciding between these two jobs potentially when they don't actually have any offers yet. Now, I did ask the question of the original poster here, and he said, yes, actually, I do have offers from both of these. So it was a good question. It was a fair question. But if you are wondering something similar, what I want to challenge you on is make sure you actually have offers, and don't get caught up in trying to solve problems that you don't actually have yet. You know, it's kind of like a shopping cart type of problem. Like, I don't know if you like to do this, but I like to sometimes go on the Apple website and put the most expensive computer in my cart and then configure it with all the most expensive options. And I'll think, ooh, do I want the extra video card, or do I want the, two of this kind of video card? Do I want this kind of, it's just kind of a fun shopping thing. But I'm not actually going to buy that like $27,000 computer, right? I have no use for that. I don't need that. It's a hypothetical. And I think sometimes we do that with the job search process. We get ourselves caught up in these hypotheticals that we're not actually facing. And the danger there, it's fun to add stuff to your cart and configure it. I don't know if some people like that. I like that. But the danger here is that will become a distraction from actually doing the one thing that you need to do when you do not yet have an offer. And you know what that is. It is applying for more jobs. See, there's a whole lot of hurry up and wait in the job search process, right? You can have one position get posted, you apply for it, they call you for an interview. In the meantime, you apply for another one and they call you for an interview, and all these timelines overlap and all these timelines get stretched out, especially during breaks and closures and things like that. So it's very easy to spend that time worrying about the hypotheticals. Don't do that. Spend every moment that you have applying for more jobs and preparing for the next step that's coming up. So if you have an interview coming up, or you're going to, or you think you might, you should be practicing for that interview. But what you should not be doing is debating about which of these multiple jobs that you've not actually been offered yet are going to be the best fit for you. Don't worry about fit until you actually have multiple offers on the table. And again, this person did, so this was actually a good thing to think about. So let's go on to the second scenario here. And by the way, I see we have a lot of people tuning in live, so let me know what questions you have, and I would love to take a look at those and see what you're thinking about as we talk about this subject here. So leave a comment, let me know if you have a kind of follow-up or a more detailed question about this. The second scenario was a little bit different, and I don't have as much information about this scenario. So I'm just going to give my answer based on what I know here. This scenario, the person had applied for 2 jobs and had already had an offer for one of them. So the first position was an athletic director / dean position. Already had the offer. The second position was an athletic director / AP position and had been invited to interview over Zoom. But here was the thing, the timeline for that second position was going to be several weeks out. So like there was no possibility of an offer for like 2 or 3 weeks. And in the meantime, if that offer for job number 1 is on the table, you can't exactly say in the hiring process, let me get back to you in a month, right? That's not going to work. So this person also is facing a very real dilemma. Do I go ahead and accept offer number 1? And do I go ahead and do the interview for position number 2, or knowing I don't have an offer and knowing I'm not going to have an offer in a timely enough fashion in order to be able to compare them side by side, right? Like we all want to be in the scenario. This is our goal for the Ascend Masterclass, is to get every one of our participants to have multiple offers to choose from so that you can end up, so that you end up with the dilemma that we're talking about today, where you have to choose between multiple offers and you want the one that's going to be the best fit. It is very hard to get that dilemma to be a reality, though, to actually put yourself into that situation. And here the big issue is one of timing. And I think it also becomes a little bit of an issue of ethics. So I want to talk about the ethics of taking one job and then continuing to pursue other jobs. There's a concept here that I think becomes highly relevant when we're looking at different types of jobs. And I believe, let me say first of all, I believe that once you accept an offer for a position at a certain level, you should accept that offer and then stick with it and then stop searching. Don't go looking for, greener pastures elsewhere. That's probably going to backfire and it's probably going to be a waste of time. Like, just don't do that, right? If you're looking for an AP job and you get an AP job, your search is done for now. Like, don't continue to hunt for greener pastures or more money. It's just disruptive to the profession when you do that. However, let me say this as clearly as I can. If you accept one offer and then you get a better offer for a higher level job, there is nothing wrong with taking that second offer. There is nothing wrong with continuing to look for your first choice type of job if you have already accepted your second or lower choice of job. And I want to be very clear about the distinction here. If one job is at a higher category, for example, if you are in, as in this, you're in a dean position, that typically is not a certified administrator position. That's typically a certified teacher position. It pays probably like a teacher position or a little bit more. So getting an AP position would be a promotion. And I think it's always okay to take a promotion. I don't know if you feel the same way, but as I look at the needs that schools have to fill leadership positions, I think we end up with some systemic problems if we decide as a profession that it's unethical to take a promotion. Right? What happens if we say, well, you already have a job as a dean, so it would be wrong for you to take a job as an AP? Well, what we're going to end up with is a shortage of leaders in the most senior positions. And if we have shortages, if we have vacancies, we want those vacancies to be at the lowest level possible. And I got to tell you, it is easier to fill a dean position than it is to fill an AP position with a highly qualified candidate. So even though it can be disruptive and you don't want this to happen to you if you're the person doing the hiring, you don't want your candidate that you just made an offer to and they just accepted it, you don't want them to go and accept an even better job somewhere else right after they accept your job. It kind of stinks. I get that. But I think we have got to be understanding in the hiring process and realize that if somebody does have a legitimately better offer for a better position, then there is nothing wrong with them taking that. It is better for the profession and better for kids if they do take that more senior position. I don't think we could make the same argument, though, just based on money. I don't think we can make the argument that if you get an offer in one district and you accept it, and then you get an offer in another district that pays more for the same job, that's ethical to just break your contract with the first district and go with the greener pastures district that pays more. That, I think, can lead us into some bad territory, because what happens there is that the most qualified candidates get funneled to the best resourced districts. And since that kind of tends to happen anyway, I am really hesitant to say that is a good thing for kids. I really don't think it is. I think once you have accepted a position, you should stick with that position unless you get offered a higher level position. So we're getting into some ethics here. Let me know what you think about this. I'll put the scenario on the screen here. And I think that those ethics of accepting a promotion or a job that would be a promotion come into play here. But I also see some issues with what we were talking about in the first scenario of some of this being kind of hypothetical. Now, let's think about what this person wants. They want, obviously, to be an athletic director slash, I assume, AP. So the dean position is something of a second choice, right? If you're qualified to be an AP, you're ready to be an AP, then a dean position might be a step in the right direction, but it may not be what you ultimately want. It may be that you spend a year in that position or 2 years in that position and then ultimately move on to the position that you're looking for of an assistant principal. But hey, if you can get an assistant principal job now, get it. Take that position. And in the meantime, keep applying. I don't think there's anything wrong with continuing to apply. So probably what I would recommend to this person is accept the offer. Say, hey, thank you very much. This sounds great. I'll take it, but continue to apply. And you may be in the dicey situation of having accepted one job for the coming year and then also continuing to look, continuing to interview, continuing to hopefully receive offers. And then you may face that dilemma of having multiple offers. I've got this job I've already accepted at one level, and then this other job offer that would be a promotion. Should I accept that? And you've got to kind of decide based on the unique factors to your situation. Geography plays a role. If you have a spouse who works in one district but not the other, that could be a factor if that'll put you on the same school year. There are a lot of factors here. But I think from an ethical standpoint, it is always okay to accept a promotion, because if we say otherwise, if we decide it's not okay to accept a promotion, then we're going to have vacancies. We're going to have leadership vacuums at a higher level, and we don't want that. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment, and I would love to hear from you. And if you have questions about the admin job search, feel free to ask, and I might answer them in an upcoming video. That's it for now. Take care.